Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we have the latest from the live radar. Run for the latest UK view, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we have got a big area of rain moving through this evening, and this is just the first batch of many heavy bands of precipitation moving in over the next few days. We have seen a lot of the focus on this heavy rain in the west, but with the low pressure systems diving slightly further southwards into early next week, we could see the rainfall focus further southwards and eastwards as well. At the moment, Monday looks like a very showery day. Tuesday, potentially a complete washout, as we see a bit of a channel low developing, where the centre of the low is towards southern England or into the channel, with the big bands of rain on the north and eastern edge. And then even into Wednesday, we could see another system moving in. At the moment, it doesn't look quite as lively as that system on Tuesday, but it could bring further bands of significant rainfall. Of course, still got a bit of warm, humid air around, as we are still in towards end of summer, heading into early autumn. So there is the risk at times of even seeing some torrential downpours, thunderstorms as well. And again, a very, very lively end to August and start to September. Not particularly warm. Temperatures perhaps high teens or low 20s, and a bit of sunshine here and there, but most of the time we are going to be under that cloud and rain, or at least have the threat of that cloud and rain. So temperatures could be pretty abysmal in some spots. Tuesday, for example, maybe only 15 degrees for some areas, especially towards the southeast, which is really poor to start September. Longer range, unfortunately, not got much good news either. Looks like this could continue for the first kind of third of September. Lots more bands of rain moving in. We had seen hints of perhaps a southerly tilt to the airflow as we head further into September, which could bring a bit of warmth. Might not do much with the precipitation and the low pressure, but bring a bit of warmth. The runs this morning have actually backed off from that a little bit. So unfortunately, this sort of pattern we've got at the moment looks like it could continue for the next couple of weeks. There will be a break. It won't rain to this intensity throughout the whole of September. But yeah, we've got to get through the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we could see a bit of a change. So do remember, if you enjoyed the videos, which do like and subscribe. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see the band of heavy rain moving in from the west at the moment. For eastern areas through the morning, it was actually really quite pleasant and warm. Felt like summer, but it was a temporary dry and sunny slot. Now the cloud is moving in for all, and progressively the heavy rain will follow. For parts of the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, it's been raining most of the morning, now slowly starting to clear into the early afternoon. And then Wales, southwest England and western Scotland, the rain is moving in. Elsewhere, it will become more and more widespread through the afternoon and into the evening. Now, of course, this just around lunchtime. You can see the east, where we've had a bit of sunshine this morning. Temperatures are reciprocating. They are pretty decent, 22, 23 degrees. And as I said a few moments ago, with the sunshine, we are still in late summer, heading into early autumn. It's going to be warm, but these dry and sunny slots are going to be few and far between over the next few days. And of course, the rain moving in from the west, it will get progressively cooler. Now, do have a look at the latest UKV. You can see that rain moving through at the moment. The sunny conditions through the morning, dissipating into the afternoon, and that rain will move in for all. It doesn't look too heavy, at least the southern portion isn't too bad. There will be some relief rainfall over the Scottish mountains, where the precipitation does pep up over the hills and mountains, but generally it's just going to be moderate rainfall across a pretty prolonged period of time, clearing later on this evening. As we head into Sunday, not too bad once again into the morning. Look at that, quite a lot of sunshine. So if you have got plans for Sunday, the morning definitely looks like the best time before the showers and storms start to get going, mostly in the west, less so in the east, but they will still be a risk quite widely of that during Sunday afternoon. We do have another little low pressure system out to our west that could cause some issues further westwards, and as we head in towards Sunday evening, you can see the showers do pep up in those northern and west areas with that low moving in again. Heavy thundery rain there to start September. That continues overnight into Monday morning, so yeah, not really much of a respite there apart from parts of eastern England. Into Monday afternoon, again another day of sunshine and showers. Again, some bright colours appearing indicating the risk of torrential rain and storms, and they could band together further northwards as we are set closer to that centre of low pressure. Beyond that, into Monday evening and Tuesday, those showers do die out, but we see the next band of very heavy rain moving through into Tuesday morning. It becomes more and more organised on approach, and by Thursday afternoon, washout conditions, horrific across England and Wales. You can see it's the sort of break-up nature of it. It's not a big wall of rain, it's more of a big collection of heavy bands. Means it is very much convection based, so it is going to be up and down with the sort of the precipitation rate. So at some points we could be seeing thunderstorms moving through, other points lighter rain, but regardless, the sort of drier spells within this are going to be few and far between. It is going to be pretty relentless, and all of those oranges and reds indicate really high rainfall amounts, 10, 20, 30 millimetres per hour. Again, a few hours of that, we could see localised flooding. That will clear during Tuesday evening, but keep some heavy showers and storms around later on. And then as we head into Wednesday, initially quite dry during the morning, but into the afternoon and evening, another band of rain moving in, really focused further westwards here with, again, significant rain in these portions. And again, some rain further eastwards, but uncertain how much this will pep up during Wednesday evening. And again, some more heavy showers and storms moving through. So Wednesday doesn't look quite as bad for England and Wales, but still there will be rain, there will be some heavy showers, just not quite as relentless and widespread, with the focus further westwards. Again, we are still a good few days away from these big areas of rain and storms arriving, so there could be some changes, there could be some alterations in timings, positionings and intensity, but we've seen pretty good consistency that these will at least be arriving in some capacity. So do be prepared for some washout conditions, especially Tuesday, maybe Wednesday as well, definitely in the west. Now, to look at the MAC temperatures, they are going to be in line with that precipitation. With that rain moving through, it is going to be poor. And you can see today in the east, where it's drier and sunnier, 20 or 22. But in the west, more towards the mid-teens. Into Sunday, again, not too bad during the morning in the east. And again, touching 20, maybe 22, 23 a possibility. But progressively from the west, it will turn cooler. And Monday's going to be a similar story, where again, it might not be too bad. We'll avoid the showers, 20, 21, but elsewhere, mid-teens with the showers and bands of rain moving through. Into Tuesday, though, look at this, abysmal conditions across much of England and Wales, 13 to 15 degrees under that heavy rain, probably feeling even a little bit cooler than that. And then you can see as we head into Wednesday, again, with those areas of rain in the west, cool around the mid-teens, further eastwards, a bit of sunshine, 20 to 22. So you can still see there is the possibility of seeing some warm conditions over the next few days, where we've got some sunshine, where we've got breaks in that rain. But for the most part, it is going to be a much cooler next 5 days. Gone are those days of mid to high 20s. We are heading into autumn, so temperatures will drop inevitably as we lose sunlight, and of course the air masses start to cool down. But with all this heavy rain, it could be a pretty slippery slope towards some cooler conditions there into early September. As I said, it looks pretty relentless the next couple of weeks with the rainfall. You can see the low pressure system moving in at the moment. That's giving us our rain throughout today, and it's kind of going to hang around as we head through the rest of the weekend and start of next week. We start to see these small daughter low pressure systems forming on its southern flank, and these give those sort of channel lows where we do see the low pressure system moving through the southern portion of England, and again bringing that heavy rain further southwards and eastwards. It continues through much of next week. There could be some brief ridges of higher pressure that could give a bit of respite in places, most likely further eastwards. But you can see the lows never disappear, and they stay relentless all the way pretty much to the end of this run, before eventually some high pressure builds in around the 13th, 14th, 15th of September. But at this stage, it's really only in the far south. Further northwards, it is much, much cooler. So yes, not looking great, if I'm being honest, over the next couple of weeks. Perhaps, again, a bit of respite in the longer range, the extended range, but again, can't take too much from that given how far away it is. For the foreseeable future, though, the GFS keeps the low pressure around, keeps westerly winds, so a cool and unsettled pattern, very unsettled pattern, unfortunately, look likely to prevail. GM is pretty similar. Low pressure hangs around, those little daughter lows form into early next week. And again, those lows don't go anywhere. Perhaps again, brief ridges of high pressure could form. And by day 10, it's a bit of a battle between an extension of the Azores high and then deep lows approaching from Iceland. And in this scenario, it could be or could turn very unsettled depending on this pattern. The isobars very tight together. You expect to see the jet stream being very strong there as well. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on this, as this could turn it not from just a unsettled, showery, thundery pattern like we've got at the moment, where it's a lot of convection, but could turn into more of a stormy system with stronger winds and perhaps those big bands of precipitation we'd normally associate with the Atlantic autumnal systems. That could be approaching if this GM is correct. Now to finish, if we look at the latest ECMWF, again, lows moving through at the moment. Those little daughter lows form on the southern flank, and they continue to bring some hazards into next week. Again, could see a little southerly tilt there around day 7, day 8. Again, we'll have to wait and see the details on that. Again, not too many other runs showing it, so can't put too much into that. But regardless, beyond towards the end of the run, yes, again, high pressure just nudging in from the south like the GFS, but most runs keep low pressure nearby. Most of this run keeps low pressure nearby until about that day 13, 14 time frame. So yes, perhaps some hints of that higher pressure extending in from the Azores or from Europe towards kind of the middle portion of September, but we're looking at 2 weeks away. The foreseeable future, the next sort of week, which is the reliable time frame, rain, and more rain, unfortunately, whether it's days of showers like we're going to see this weekend, or more precipitation in terms of relentless precipitation like tonight, or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Looks like there's going to be rain most days, or at least a moderate high risk on most days. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get a sort of a bone dry day out there anywhere really over the next couple of weeks. And you can see this from the latest ensembles. Upper air temperatures hovering around average, probably more below than above. And again, those runs around the 10th of September that were spiking a little bit, indicating potential southerly flow, those are dissipated away in the latest update. Doesn't mean the possibility isn't there, just the latest run not really going for it. Precipitation looks pretty relentless. Yes, there are a few sort of drier patches here or there, but not lasting more than 12 hours, so a morning or maybe an evening or so. Most of the time we've got precipitation spikes. Again, they don't look too ominous, and that's because, as I said, the precipitation is mostly convection based over the next week or so. Yes, there is more organised rain like tonight or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday in the west, but apart from that, it is convection based, which the ensembles do struggle with forecasting because they are lower resolution. We need more higher resolution runs like the UKV to show that. So that's why it's not quite as ominous here than what we probably will see in reality. But yeah, not looking great at all. Sea level pressure pretty low over the next week, rising a little bit longer term. Again, that's potentially high pressure moving in a little bit more from Europe, but again, doesn't mean it's going to turn dry. We're just nudging closer to more of a high pressure regime, but still not seeing any real dominant heights there. So keeping us pretty unsettled and keeping that risk of heavy showers. Temperatures not looking great either. A slow downwards trend. Again, it's expected this time of year with, of course, us heading further into autumn. But it isn't, or sometimes, at least this time of year, we can see those temperatures sort of sustain themselves around the low to mid-20s with a bit of a late summer bloom, or at least a continuation of summer. Doesn't look like we're seeing that at all this year. And finally, if we compare to the ECMWF again, upper air temperatures hovering around average, more of those warmer runs there, I must say, around the 10th, 12th of September. So again, doesn't mean it's gone completely. ECMWF is still showing it a little bit, but it's definitely not the overwhelming sort of obvious sort of choice from the ensembles. And precipitation is very high as well. Look at that relentless precipitation amounts. You see the short term, they're banding more into individual spikes. That's when the ensembles start to firm up the next kind of 4 or 5 days when they got a bit more confidence. Longer range, those just lots of spikes pretty much all the time, again indicating convective nature and the uncertainty and timings of lows. But the one thing it does say is we are looking at this unsettled pattern, as I said, for the next week at least, most likely 2 weeks. It is a bit unfortunate. We've had a very dry summer, very fortunate summer for getting outdoors. It looks like, though, Mother Nature is getting some vengeance now with pretty much 2 weeks of relentless rain. We do need it in many spots where we've had drought conditions. Reservoir levels are low, but we kind of would like this amount of rain perhaps across a month or 6 weeks, not 2 weeks, as it could cause some issues with not only flash flooding, but river flooding could become a problem in a week or two's time if this sort of rainfall does continue and sort of is as forecasted. Of course, the heavy rain only started arriving a couple of days ago, but already I think we're a little bit sick of some of these heavy showers and bands of rain that have moved through. Hopefully something drier arrives into September or later on into September, because the sort of pattern we've got now, we'd more be in line with like a November or a February, not late August or early September. We'll have to wait and see. There are tentative signs from some of those operation runs around the middle portion of September, but the foreseeable future, be prepared to have your brollies out, be prepared to have your waterproofs ready, as it does look likely to be pretty relentless with the rain for the next couple of weeks. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Manage to stay up to date, as again I'll have more videos out looking at the shorter range, looking at the timings and intensity of the rain for you over the next few days. But I'll see you again for another video soon.